Hello everyone, this is Leslie. Welcome back to my channel. I wanted to talk to you today about something that it always occurs to me around Mother's Day, because Mother's Day is the day outside the Philadelphia area is when you can put your flowers outside, and not, they say, the fear of frost is gone. So every year, for Mother's Day, when my children were much younger, I would get a hanging basket like this, and several of these from this flower sale at their school. And this would be wrapped up really nice, and they would give these, to me. And that would be a wonderful Mother's Day. And then a couple of years ago, I realized that these hanging baskets, and then sometimes if I lost the hanging part, they would just be these. They were still in pretty good condition at the end of September, and I hated to waste them. So I would bring them inside, and once or twice I tried to do this in my garage, and it was actually somewhat successful. I think 3 years ago I brought them into my house, and I tried to keep these things alive. I will tell you, and so this is what this is about, is Frugal Flowers. If you water your plants throughout the winter, and I live outside of Philadelphia, with I call it a southern exposure. So no, that's not right. When the sun comes up in the morning, I'm getting a lot of direct sunlight on my flowers. I will put them on, something with a drainage underneath it, and they will get sun, and I will water them. They do not bloom all season. They will become just green. And they also, as you can see, become very spindly. I'm going to try to show you an example of that here. They get really dark and bad coloring of the stalks, but that's okay. Maybe you can see it on this one better. You can, well, some of these are green, but one or two of them in there you can see they're pretty not in the best condition. Maybe this one. Okay, so what I will do is, come March or April, invariably I start to notice a little bloom like that. And before you know it, I have a big bloom like this. So I know that they're starting to get a lot more sun, and I'm watering them, and I'm going to start to see some green shoots off of the brown parts. What I do, and if you know these are geraniums. If you know anything about geraniums, the big thing to do with geraniums is to deadhead them, whereas you kind of just bend and remove the stalk at the bottom of where the I can't think of what that thing is called, the base of the plant, and that rejuvenates the growth. So I will, once it gets kind of spindly, and I can even show that to you. Hold on one second. I left these over here. As you can see, they get kind of longer-ish and kind of you kind of have to, and because I'm not very good I don't have a green thumb, I will just cut this off with a pair of scissors. And it rejuvenates new growth. And by end of June or July, you'll have some really nice growth here. And so you can just use this. So the other thing I do is, now I get one flat of plants for Mother's Day. And I will, each plant actually has 4 individual plants. This is 4 plants. I have a flat, so it's 8, 1, 2, 3, 4 times 2 is 4 times 2 is 8 times 4 each one. So it's 32 individual plants in the flat. And what I have done very nicely, and I will show you this later on in the season, I will add 1 or 2 of these little plants into this container that does not have a hanging, and I will make an absolutely beautiful display of flowers. This cost me $15.85 with tax. It was $14.95 plus tax, $14.99 plus tax. And each of these, I just recycle year by year. So I'm basically just using the same plants every year, and just adding $15 worth of annuals. Let me just say one other thing about the annuals, especially impatiens, which this is really happening this year. My impatiens, which last year, they all died. Okay, these are impatiens, if you know about impatiens. They all died at the end of the season, and it was just a pot of brown dirt, and the impatiens had all withered and died. I continued to water the brown dirt, And sure enough, these little things, which they fall off and they seed, you will have new impatient plants this year in that mound of brown dirt. So I have one of these round pots that was just a mound of brown dirt, and honestly, I almost could have thrown it away back in October. I held on to it, and I periodically watered it, which seemed kind of silly, but it was an experiment to see whether or not the impatiens would bloom, and they are beautiful. So that's another way to rejuvenate and reuse your plants from year to year. Most people say that impatiens are annuals, but I will tell you that if you bring them in, you can bring them back from the dead, and you can make a beautiful flower arrangement. So from my initial investment, or our family's initial investment of my flowers, which is, they really haven't every year now they just get me, they know that I want one flat of assorted flowers that cost $15, $16. That's my Mother's Day gift for my plants. And I use them and I put them into my hanging plants, into my potted plants. And by dividing each one of these plants, as I was just saying, into each one of these individual plants, as you can see, is actually 4 plants. Each one of these little plants, which you just simply pull out, you disengage the bottom, the root system, and you put in a plot. And this little impatient, which is one of the reasons why I love impatiens, will grow so big and spread so much. So it's a very frugal way to keep your plants alive from year to year. That is my name is Leslie. That is what I wanted to tell you this about. I think my head's cut off. About Frugal Flowers for the holiday season, and how don't despair at the end of this year if you are thinking about getting rid of your potted plants. It's a great frugal thing to do, is to keep them year after year. Just put them in a southern or eastern, rises in the east. Yeah, an eastern looking or southern exposure window which gets a lot of sun, with a drainage of some sort, a pan or something underneath, so you don't ruin your windowsills. And I have been doing it for 4 years, and you can see some of the colors are a little bit, like some of these might be considered a little discolored, but they will come back and they will bloom, and that's a great thing about geraniums. Another great thing about geraniums is that if you deadhead them, like I just did, they come back and they grow even better. Thank you so much for stopping by. I hope all you mothers have a great Mother's Day. Thank you for watching my channel. And if you do anything like this, please let me know, because I would love any more ideas that you may have. Thank you. Bye-bye now.